DC Comics' new universe, the Absolute Universe. It's the new series run that started back in 2024 and has been making storms in the comic industry. This is the most I've ever heard about DC in a long time. Everyone is talking about it, and the hype is real. After thinking long and hard, I've decided to give the Absolute Universe a shot. So after 7 long years, I'll be picking up my first comic. The only correct way to start is by reading the DC Trinity, so I will be reviewing and analyzing each Absolute series one by one, and seeing if storytelling in comics is truly back. Let's not waste any more time and get right into it. And there's no better way to start that than with the Man of Steel. I've never read a Superman comic. This is actually my first. I tried one time and the first issue had me passing out on the couch. It was Superman issue 0 of Action Comics 2011. It felt really slow. I like to read every single text that's put down on a comic or just any story in general. And I feel like if there is something written, it is meant to be read. But for that comic, it felt like you were supposed to skim through it, not read every single text bubble, only the short ones. It felt like it was meant for people who had experience with Superman and not for newcomers. But this Superman series is for newcomers. Actually, all of Absolute Universe is for newcomers. It feels fresh, fast, and paced for new and old fans. With the many changes and its own unique spin on the hero's origins and iconic characters, it feels exciting. And Superman's origin is the most exciting out of all of them. The first 7 issues, we follow Kal-El's origin and present actions. In its past, we see the struggles of Krypton with its systematic oppression and social inequality. The planet Krypton was a highly advanced planet. They had lab-planted gardens, lava-powered energy plants, and skyscrapers made purely out of crystal. They were innovators, and possibly the smartest people in the universe, and they knew it. Knowing this caused pride, and with that pride, the smartest Kryptonians divided themselves into 2 different classes. The Science League, the ruling class, the high class, living in rich cities, ruling everyone and controlled by no one. And then the other side, the Labor Guild, the working class, the low class, doing all the hard work, running restaurants to serve the high class, and working in dangerous power plants with no one caring about their safety. Kal-El is from the Labor Guild. Both of his parents are incredibly smart Kryptonians that challenged the Science League in their younger years, and were punished by being stripped of all of their hard work and put into the Labor Guild. But they still had a good life. They had a smart son who challenged the societal norms, and a loyal dog a little too smart for their own good. And they still made enough money to live a good life. It was a good life, until Kal-El's dad learned the truth of the planet's state. Krypton's life energy had been expended to its limits, and was dying. Kal-El's dad tried to warn the Science League, but they wouldn't listen. So he and his wife worked to make a ship to escape in secret, with whatever time they had remaining. But soon they were out of time, and signs of the world were dying. The rush to finish the spaceship fastened. Kal-El witnessed how the ruling class treated his parents and the working class even during this crisis. And when he found out the ruling class was trying to lie to the people about the planet so they could leave without a trace, Kal-El wrote a story so quickly the world went up in flames. The voices of the people were finally heard, and the Science League were exposed for their lies. But this small victory meant nothing with the impending doom. Kal-El may have revealed the secret, but it couldn't save anyone. Everyone tried to get on the ships made by the Science League, and the chaos resulted in no one escaping, except for Kal-El's family's ship. They fit as many of the working class as they could and flew out into space, while the world was erupting like a volcano. The only survivor of this was Kal-El, alone in space for years, until he wandered on Earth, until he found Earth. I don't want to spoil too much, but Krypton and Earth take many of the same positions. We're set in a time where Kal-El is at many different low-class mining posts that are highly watched by the government, called the Lazarus Corp. It's blatant police brutality, and it's so outward with it, using the low class to benefit the high class. It's insane, but there's no sense in rioting because you and your family could be killed by it. Kal-El feels a sense of familiarity and wants to change this societal norm, do what he couldn't do for his world and the Labor Guild. The policemen, a part of the Lazarus Corp, is called Peacemakers, and it feels like they own the world. They control the media, the law enforcement, they even control rain. Literally, the Kent family and other farmers have to pay for rain like it's a monthly subscription. which is insane. What's also insane is that is exactly what was going on in Krypton. That's what they did to the Labor Guild. That's the connection. That's the drive. He's driven by the loss of his family and the people and the system he couldn't fix because he was too young, too naive. But now he has power, strength, and the will to fix the corrupt system built by the Lazarus Court. The Superman story is so enticing and interesting, with the many changes in the characters and the world being a bit more advanced to the point a person like Superman isn't a complete game changer to the world. Having characters like Lois Lane be a detective in the Lazarus Corps that makes reports and observes Superman is a good twist in changing her, but still keeping what makes her Lois Lane. Because of her journaling and reporting, we learn about Superman through the people he has helped. And what I like the most is that they are the ones who give him his title. He's just a young adult traveling to different minds to help out the low-class oppressed people, and he is leaving a message of hope. To me, Superman has always been this unrelatable guy. He was like the perfect person. He was a personification of hope and love. He is so famous and loved because people aspire to be him or grow to be like him. But to me, Superman isn't relatable in hindsight. His love for people in the world, his actions, and how he responds to things is just so righteous. No human being can measure up to that type of righteousness, even if they tried. Old Superman was impossible to reach. There was a disconnect. But with this Superman, the disconnect is gone. I can relate to him. I can see myself in him. He has many relatable struggles. Being of the middle class, struggling with his emotions, feeling regret in what he couldn't do, and even being scared to kill someone because he is so angry. I can relate to that. It's just like Spider-Man. I can relate to him. To me, I think that's why he is so popular. He is a nerd. He struggles to pay rent. His social life isn't the best. He is selfless when he wants to be selfish. He has so many different problems and struggles, which gives him more relatability. I feel that Superman will go through a lot of struggles and lessons. And for that, I feel more connected to follow this Superman than ever before. I'm loving the journey so far. And Absolute Superman is definitely my favorite run. Absolute Batman feels like I'm reading a movie. That's right, reading a movie. Everything from the narration to the dialogue to the colors gives movie vibes. I could literally see this on the big screen. It feels like a new, fresh Batman movie, and that's because of the changes in the characters. I love all the new rewrites. It's so unique and telling. In this universe, Bruce Wayne was an average kid. His family wasn't rich at all. His dad was a school teacher, and all of his childhood friends are Killer Croc, the Riddler, Catwoman, Two-Face, and the Penguin. But in this universe, these guys never turn into those bad guys. At least for now. I like the dynamic of all of them being regular citizens of Gotham. It means they know Gotham, and they aren't afraid to get their hands dirty. Seeing Bruce work with them in this different lens helps shows the bond they share, but also helps demonstrate how different this Batman is from any we have ever seen. Now, since Bruce's family isn't rich, then what happens to Alfred? That's the biggest change. He is like a hitman, or an assassin, or an agent. Something like that, I don't know. But he is sent to Gotham to spy on this gang called the Party Animals. They're killing people at an alarming rate. His mission is to spy on the Party Animals, but his target is Batman, to observe him, and if he interferes with the gang, to take him out. We follow Alfred as he spies and learns more about Batman and the gang, and even though he has been ordered to kill Batman, he does it because he is intrigued by him and his style. Alfred is basically us, the viewers. We want to see what this Batman can do and who this Batman is. And Batman does not disappoint. In the Party Animals' first major shooting, it's at a town hall held by Mayor Jim Gordon. They show up and start blasting, but Batman arrives and shows us his arsenal. His weird cape that works like a hook to grab people and grab onto buildings, his bat knives that's like on the top of his head, and his little bat symbol that works like an axe. It's fucking crazy. And even though he's being very, very gruesome with his attacks, he never does any lethal damage. And when he forces the gang to flee, he tricks them and lets loose an explosive trap to apprehend the rest of them. Alfred didn't engage in seeing Batman as an intriguing fellow, but nothing more than an average specialist. He thinks his skills are superior to Batman, but Batman gets a jump on him and even takes his shotgun. After this event, Gotham is asking who is Batman, and so is Alfred. So he tracks him down, finds his identity, and learns that he was an excellent student who won a school project competition, which led to his class going to the zoo. Sadly, that's where the shooting happened and he lost his father. As Bruce grows, he has an average life. He gets thrown in jail, does university football, some college stuff, but suddenly that all stops and he puts all of his effort into criminal psychology, socio-cultural history, chemistry, applied mechanics, military theory, everything. He built something strong and became prepared for the night. He even made bat caves, but they're more like bat towers. He would use towers under construction and set up shop. Alfred soon learned about these bat towers as well and went to ambush him, thinking he had the upper hand, but Bruce showed he is just as skilled as tracking. He knew Alfred was following him, and he took care of him by using the same shotgun, but shot him with non-lethal bullets. And then he stole his bride and drove off the skyscraper using his wings as gliders. Right then and there, just like the audience, Alfred became engrossed with Batman, like being hooked on a new Netflix show to binge. The party animals are the big bad for this series, and I feel they work really good because they are the first big bad. Instead of having Batman go up against one single man with power or connections, he is against a gang with a large influence. Just beating one man won't save the day. He can't only use his fists. He has to use connections, communication, intense planning, and his fists if he wants to even get close to a win. The party animals is run by this gang leader, Roman. He doesn't lead the gang members though. The gang is so large, it would be impossible to get everyone to listen to one man. So he uses the system to his advantage. Gotham's citizens are almost all low class, almost like the middle class doesn't exist. And with crime being so potent, they must act like rats to survive. It's killed or be killed, tricked or be tricked. They all want money to feed themselves, their families, and just live a good life. So what does Roman do to get followers? Money. All of the party animals wear these skull masks that serve two purposes. One, to hide their identity, and two, a program that holds bounties on the richest head. The prices go from 10K to $1 million. If all these people have to do is kill one or two people to be set for life, why wouldn't they? Roman has exploited the flaw in Gotham and is using it to manipulate everyone, even Bruce himself. He offers Bruce $200 million to stand down for 1 week, and the party animals will leave. He bribes him even more, telling him how glorious Batman can be as a figure in Gotham. His name will be known for getting rid of the party animals. An amount of tech he could buy, he could actually give bat caves, Batmobiles, Batarangs, everything. And with Bruce living in the flawed system, knowing the pain of struggling to survive, he accepts this deal. He meets everyone at the rendezvous point to pick up his money, and every single gang member surrounds the area, like guards, so no public eye can witness it. Everyone shows themselves, and in hindsight, this is a victory. The party animals will leave in a few days, and everyone wins. This is what Alfred believes. He even gives Bruce his flowers for making this happen. But what does Batman think? What does Bruce Wayne think? When Bruce was just starting out as Batman, he had no clue what he was doing. At first he wore vampire teeth, claws, face paint, all theatrics, nothing more. It was literal play pretend. He even had a gun, but what would a gun do? He would be killing his own people. He knows their true goal. They just want money. They're desperate for it. These are his neighbors, his local store clerks. Others will just take their place. He has to be more. So he keeps improving, keeps studying, and keeps building. He feels he finally reaches it, and he takes out a shipment site led by the Maronis and the Falcons. Two big gangs with so much power, not one single person can reach them. They just let them be. But Bruce doesn't. He takes down this operation and he feels that this is what it should be, right? No, something is still missing. Bruce and his father were really close. He learned a lot from him, the most from when he was working on his project for the competition. The same competition that would lead to his father's death. When Bruce was working on it, he always got his father's input. The more they talked, the deeper the project became. At first it was just about a make-believe bridge, but then it became something that people could believe in, rely on. The people of Gotham want to live, they want to flourish, but they live in a rat's nest. They put on brave faces knowing they have to do what has to be done. All around them things are falling apart. People are hurting. They feel no one wants them. They're alone at the mercy of the higher class. Some are powerless, some are angry, and some are laying low preparing. But that's bad. The only way to flourish is to be free, to fly. So Bruce builds something that can fly, that can hide, that can defend, that can fight, that can even provide. To be and do the impossible. And there is only one mammal on the earth that can do the impossible and fly. A bat. So what does Batman think? What does he do? He uses that $200 million and burns it in the sky for all of Gotham to see. This isn't just a symbol, but a message. A message that he will do the impossible and defeat Roman and the party animals, because he is Batman. When that scene happened, I was so hyped. It felt like hitting a high point of a movie. I love the spin on Batman being someone with little resources but has the advantage of being one of the people. He is set by his convictions and his actions speak true. I feel the Dark Knight will be more than a nightmare for his enemies and wrongdoers, but also a guardian angel for the people to smile at brightly. Absolute Batman is definitely going to be one hell of a ride. Absolute Wonderwoman follows Cersei, who was forever imprisoned on a side of hell called the Wild Isle. She is given a baby who was the last of the Amazons as punishment. Because the Amazons went against the gods, they don't care about the baby or what Cersei does with it. Whether it dies or she takes care of it. It is in hell, so it should die eventually. To Cersei's surprise, the baby is superhuman, and when the monster attacks, the baby doesn't kill it, it scolds it. As Diana grew, Cersei watched as many monsters tried to kill her, and became used to Diana's ways of making the scariest creatures their new playful pet. They grew together and created a home. Before Cersei knew it, she cared for Diana like her own child. Diana grows and eventually wonders about her origins. She feels like she is missing a part of herself, something that is ingrained in her, something that she is afraid of, something that she yearns for. Amazon. The Amazons who protected the world from the monsters who only wanted to feast on it. The Amazons were true warriors, and Diana was petrified knowing she had grown so much without knowing that name. The first issue of the story is narrated by Cersei and her growing love as a mother. She stated, "How you fall in love with a child is by raising it. Raising a child is how you fall in love. By letting them go is how you prove your love. How you prove your love is by setting your child free and watching her become everything she was meant to be." Diana of the Themyscira, last of the Amazons, princess of hell, witch of the Isle, and daughter of Cersei. Cersei is a very big part of the story, not a character we see ever so often on the side. Diana's whole way of living is from Cersei. She taught her so many lessons in fighting, magic, reading, history, and even knowledge of the gods. Diana is who she is because of her mother, and she prides herself in that every day. Watching these two together fills my heart up. It's like having a mentor character in the sidelines being genuinely in the sidelines, but supporting the main character. Like a coach in a baseball game, or a tutor hoping their student does good on the test. Cersei is her coach, her tutor, and the biggest lesson she constantly ingrains in Diana is injustice. One thing that becomes clear is the vocal point of the story is injustice. The loss of fairness and trying to be fair. Wonder Woman believes in fairness, and the world is full of unfairness. The gods' whole thing is being unfair to people. They punish others for their own anger and rule over others as they so please. We see two victims of this injustice with Prometheus and Medusa. When fighting a monster, Diana believes she cannot defeat it, and so she finds another way, by transforming into Medusa herself. Medusa is a priestess of Athena who was sexually assaulted by Poseidon. Once Athena found out, she cursed her and turned her into the Medusa that we all know, the one with the snakes on the head, and the eyes that turn anyone to stone. When Diana transforms into her, she slightly speaks on the injustice of her curse, but not entirely one-sided. Cursing and cursed, forever entwined in injustice, a living hell. She is aware of the injustice caused by Medusa, but is also aware of the acts of cruelty she casted upon others later. One bad deed does not make another valid, and that is her struggle. She struggles to aid ones who were done wrong and violated, but knowing they have done the same in response, it becomes more complicated. Young Diana only saw the light. She saw the light in the hideous, and that's what made her so different, so special. But now she is much older and mature. She has to be an adult and see the reality of people and their actions. She is aware of this because after defeating the monster, she admits that there must be a lesson in there for her on why the unfairness upon Medusa is what saved her in this moment. Now Prometheus is a bit more softer and a clear example of how Diana deals with the unjust. Prometheus is a titan that disobeyed the gods and gave fire to humanity, which helped evolve their civilization. Because of this, Zeus condemned him to eternal torture, bounding him to a mountain where an eagle would eat his liver, and that would regrow every single night. Wonderwoman comes to free him in exchange for an offering, but when she frees him, she makes it known this isn't a deal. She still begs for an offering because her freeing him was just in the name of justice, the right thing to do. She even asks the eagle to not torment Prometheus anymore and apologizes to Prometheus because she does not have the power to completely free him from the chains that bind him. She believes her coming for ulterior motives is selfish and unfair, but it needs to be done. Prometheus gives his flesh to her as a gift rather than a trade for his one day of freedom, because he knows who she is and what she strives to be and reach. I love the way the series intertwines Greek mythology and DC Comics. They don't water down these iconic characters for the sake of easier comprehension. They keep these characters and gods the same to their lore, and simply add on to it. They slightly alter things to work without completely erasing what made these gods, well, gods. They also never tell us their full story. When we meet Persephone, they don't immediately tell us her whole story and how she got to hell, but instead, she drops little tidbits here and there. Have you ever heard of the story about how I became a queen of the underworld? It involves kidnapping and pomegranate seeds. From this we learn she was kidnapped here and forcibly became the queen of hell. You have your win, but lose your bride. So be certain, husband. We learn that Hades wants to keep Persephone, so even though she messes with his plans, he won't punish her, and she uses that to help Diana. Finally, one day bring reckoning of which you speak, and I will consider your debt paid in full. She wants to be free. That's her whole desire. From these 3 lines, even a new reader to mythology can gather that Hades kidnapped her, and now she is forever stuck in hell as a bride. Maybe not tortured physically, but at least mentally, this is not her home. Overall, just from the DC Trinity, everything moves extremely well. It's a story that feels rich and deep, and we're just getting a taste of it. The Absolute Universe feels connected. It's leading to something major. The biggest issue for me was comics would go from one big bad to another. If it wasn't a special occasion or an event, the series would look like a Cartoon Network episode. The story ends there and a new one begins next episode. Like what happened last episode never happened or just doesn't matter. Each respective story is telling something bigger. It's building, and I love that. I have high hopes that this will be the norm for the Absolute Universe. The Absolute Universe is giving a sort of freedom I have never seen in DC or Marvel comics. You can change a few things with each new iteration, but some things can't change, like iconic villains, or fan favorite characters, or past popular events that have to be retold the same exact way with no changes. All those chains seem to have been lifted, and everyone has this calculated freedom. It's like a what if series, but taken seriously, like the writers have something to prove. And honestly, they do have something to prove. With all the old outrages from fans from the last few years, comics were getting too shallowed by authors with self-inserts and making their personal opinion law in the story. They would contradict and ruin iconic characters. I'm not saying I hate self-inserts or despise stories that don't follow the original script. I'm literally a writer myself. You can't help but self-insert or put your own opinions in it. But it's a matter of how it's put in the story. Does it work? Does it fit? Does it thematically work with what I am trying to say? It should be, can I add this in my story? Not, can my story fit around this? I feel like the Absolute Universe is finally putting a stop to the, can my story fit around this narrative, and following the, can I add this to my story route, which is how it should be. I study and analyze stories. I love stories, and I'm always amazed on what people create. To me, there is no story in any range where I can say I could have wrote it better. Because there is no way you can recreate the uniqueness that made that story theirs. It's the uniqueness, the ideas, the hours and hours of brainstorming and creating that makes a story your own. It's like your baby, and the writers of the DC Trinity are nurturing their babies to fruition. Honestly, I'm back in the comics now. My love for DC, I don't think will ever fade. It's even got me drawing again. I'm rewatching old shows, looking for books with my favorite heroes. Even now, I'm searching for the best Superman comic run to prepare myself for the new Superman movie that's going to be coming out soon. If you liked the video, you'll be glad to hear more videos like this are on the way. I haven't read all of the issues for the Absolute Universe, so you know what's coming next. See you all soon. Thanks for watching.